reason Mike O'Hearn would be doing blood work is to get gassed out of his mind.
That's right.
When you were starting to do your blood work, and just think about this.
I never did blood work until I came out here in 1975.
When you do blood work on some people, do you find like the PSA is high or the cholesterol's blown up and you send these people to save their lives?
Right.
Johnny!
What's up?
Well played, boy.
How you guys doing?
I got the legend sitting next to me. The young kid named the Black Prince, Robbie Robinson.
Yes, sir. Know of him very well.
When was the first time you heard about Robbie Robinson?
Robbie Robinson. Probably when I was a kid. So I used to read like the muscle and fitness magazines when I was a kid. Remember when you were like a teenager? I mean, well, us as teenagers, I guess. You could go into like me as a teenager, whatever, because I am younger than you. But I'd go, in any store, gas station, whatever it is, and that's when magazines were everywhere, right? You had every kind of magazine there was. And, obviously as a kid like that, I wasn't as big as I wanted to be, and that's kind of when I looked and directed, and that's kind of where I learned of some of these legends here, like Robbie. So, I've seen his training through many years, obviously, on video. I've seen him train with you on video quite a few times, too, as well. And, man, I mean, the guy looks amazing, and it's just defying age, right? I mean, that's what it's all about, too, quality of life and defying age and looking your best.
Now, my team is going to edit this and put some other layovers over this, so they can so the fans can fully understand a little discussion we're going to have today.
Sure.
Now, my girl Mona, the Beast, the Savage, we were just talking about it. Great partner to have because she don't skip workouts. Right. If I sit there and I start crying and sound like a snowflake, she's like, "You're a little bee. Get your ass in there." It's like, "Hey, I want to have a cheat day."
Yeah.
What for? You fat pig? Get in there. There's no off. Mona doesn't go off. She just straight. Yeah. And we're just talking about that. And that's how you have to have a partner. And I know that you have that, and I know that you have a strong partner.
Yeah.
So the other day, we get this post or comment on Mona's post. Mm-hmm. We're talking about Titan Medical and going to get your blood work.
Yep.
And this is where you come in. This is this discussion that somebody said, the only reason Mike O'Hearn would be doing blood work is to get gassed out of his mind.
That's right. I seen this comment. I actually answered back to it.
A guy, double nickels, is only doing blood work because he's going to get gassed out of his mind.
Right.
I'm absolutely confused on the ignorance of this because blood work has been around for medication
Of course.
Yeah. Since I was a little boy.
You're closing in on 80. When was the first? Most people get their blood work done.
Of course.
When they go see the doctor, what's going on? Hey, 35, 40 years old.
Yep.
That was a shock to me.
Yeah.
You were so nice on the rebuttal. Talk to me when you were starting to do your blood work. And just think about this.
I never did blood work until I came out here in 1975.
1975, you were...
I was 24, 25,
wow.
24, 25. Yeah.
1975, they had blood work. That's odd to me. I thought that was just a new thing that Titan Medical brought up.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I had never even heard of it before. Blood work, what is that? And I came out and we had me go to a doctor, and the doctor said, "We need to do blood work." And I said, "Really? What is that?" And he said, "We have to take your blood and determine if there's, you have any kind of illness or anything, right?" And I said, "Okay, cool, And I didn't have any problems at that point. I didn't have any problem, no health issues, no whatsoever."
Later on in this, I do want to talk about the syndrome you have and when you discovered that. But continue on this for right now.
The whole thing of it is I had never done any blood work. Nobody had even told me about it. I didn't know such a thing existed. As I say, I grew up in the swamp, Florida. Nobody did any blood work. What was that?
Right.
You couldn't afford it anyway. So I came here in 1975. Joe Weeder said, "Robbie, you need to go to the doctor and get your blood work done." I said, "Okay, cool. What the hell is that? I never heard such a thing." So I go to the doctor. The doctor says, "You have sickle cell anemia. You have a blood disorder." at this point. He said, blood disorder. So I said, well, what the hell is a blood disorder? And he said, well, we do more blood work on you and then we'll find out. So I came, after that, we were all preparing for the Mr. World. I was preparing for Mr. World, all of us trained for Miss Olympia. And I took, I remember training up, we got 2 weeks out before the competition. I remember in the gym, you know, just like you have it here now, you know, somebody come and say, what you taking? Or what you
Right. What's your cycle, dog?
And I said, nothing. I'm just, you know, just going in here bodybuilding the bodybuilding. Because I didn't know that that kind of thing even existed, anabolic even existed. I thought you go in and you gut bust it.
Right.
Kill it. And then you leave and go back home and kill it again. Nobody said about eat your food. Nobody talked to me about any kind of anabolic substances the whole time I was preparing for the world, and all was training for the Olympics. We were all training together. And then I realized that, wow, I'm handling the same way these dudes handling it, and I'm not on anything. You understand what I'm saying? People have to understand that it's what's made up in here. If you ain't got it in here, ain't no drug gonna give it to you. I'm sorry. It's all cosmetic. It's a cosmetic form of cosmetic. It's not something that is gonna build you muscle. You got the dog, 500, 400, 300, deadlift, squat, leg press. You have to do the heavy iron. And if you're not doing that, it's not gonna happen. Anyway, get back to my story. 2 weeks out from the Mr. World, you know, the guy in the gym said, hey, Robbie, what you on? I said, what you talking about? He said, well, come back this afternoon. I came back, and they gave me a shot of Primobolan Depot. This is the most strongest natural anabolic, I would say, natural anabolic that wouldn't probably trigger me anything. And I came back, they gave me the shot. I walked home, honest to God, I felt my body go, whoop. I said, whoa. What is this, you know? Walked on home. I got to the top of my stairs, knocked on the door for my lady to come to the gym, collapsed. I didn't know what.
Wow.
I'm on the floor, shaking.
Oh, no.
Going through all these changes, and I'm almost like spitting, almost foaming at the mouth. And then I relaxed, and she, Robbie, what's wrong? What's wrong? She dragged me in the house, threw me in the tub, hot cup, and drank cold water on me. She saved my life.
Oh, wow.
I go back to the doctor and say, well, you have sickle cell anemia.
I got you.
From that point on, I knew that I couldn't overly indulge in that cosmetically like that I had to find the right amount of the dosages that would carry me through 8 weeks. And that's what I've done my whole career for 27 years.
So you're this legend that's been in the industry, and to me, the #1 human ever to exist that stayed at the pinnacle of the health and fitness world longer than anybody. You just were in here squatting 3 bills and doing the press with 500. And again, you're closing in on 80, and you're still doing this. And you found out in the 70s you had this illness, but you did it because you did blood work.
Yeah.
You understood that there was something, and then you set your game plan up smart so you could do this for the longest time
period.
And that's what we go back to blood work. And that's why John over at Titan Medical, again, it goes back to, I get it, you guys think one thing. It's not about that. It's about living a lifetime of being a true savage. Not like, hey, I'm working out. No, again, leading the world in this. And again, I look at this and I go, oh, I've been training a long time, but I got to do another 20, 30 years to catch you. It's like, this is cool that the possibility is there.
Right.
And John, tell us about things that maybe, if you can, without giving names, when you do blood work on some people, do you find like the PSA is high or the cholesterol's blown up, and you send these people to save their lives?
Right. So, you know, we see a wide variety of range of patients, males and females, and demographics from 21 to 59 years old usually. There are a couple of people that are in the 60s that we do treat. You know, it's just so random. You know, you don't know. You can't judge a book by its cover. I've seen guys come in here that look like Adonis. They look like Ferraris on the outside and Pinto engines on the inside. Kidneys and renal failure. I mean, liver functions are through the roof. Hemoglobin, hematocrit, red blood cell counts through the roof. Just, you know, things that don't look good on paper in blood work, right? And you look at somebody and you're like, man, like, this person is the most healthiest person I've ever seen in my life. He's just so cut and so lean and so big, man. It's it's awesome. But when you start looking on the inside, that's really what really true determines what's going on. So I've seen that. I've seen guys that come through here at all ages too, like 30, 40, or 50 years old. PSAs have been high. And when PSAs go high, that is an indicator, a blood marker to say, hey, listen, you need to go see a specialist about this. So if somebody came back and their PSA was, let's say, even a 3.4, which is getting really close to that 4.0 scale or higher, we're going to send them to urology. We want to make sure the specialist checks them. If they have to give them the finger test, if they've never had that, to check, or they even do biopsies. I've had patients where the PSA goes up, and PSAs going up doesn't automatically mean that you have prostate cancer. It is an indicator that could possibly be prostate cancer down the road. But there's other guys out there that have got infections of the prostate that will inflame the prostate, enlarge the prostate, and then at that point, they take the antibiotics and the prostate goes down. So they're perfectly fine. But you got some people out there, BPH, enlarged prostates, and they take Cialis every day, and that lowers it, but they don't have prostate cancer.
Well, I guess Cialis every day lowers your piece.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, so tadalafil or Cialis is the commercial drug. They use it for patients that have BPH, and that's when the prostate is enlarged, and they take that to lower the prostate, and it will take down the size of the prostate to a certain degree. They've also got a couple other medications out there that they use. So
that seems like the fun one to use, though.
Yeah, no, it really is, right? It really is. I mean, it just is what it is. Like, even when you have sexual intercourse, you ejaculate, whatever it may be, the prostate will enlarge. So even we tell patients, like, listen, if you've had any issues with prostates or PSAs going high, the best thing to do is stay abstinent from sex at least 72 hours before the blood test. If they've had liver functions or kidney functions that are reading wrong, right? We tell them that, listen, don't work out at least one day before you come in and do the blood test, because these can throw those different markers off. If you're not hydrating properly, this can throw your kidney markers.
I got to stop you again, man, because this is, again, the main thing that I've ever heard, again, is just fast. Just fast when you do the blood work. But now we added some more things onto here.
For sure.
This is great. So fasting is a must.
Yep. Fasting's a must. It's not a must for every blood test, but depending on what blood test you have on your blood, your labs. So for instance, testosterone free and total is not going to be determined by if you fast or not fast. The only things that you really have to fast for is your fasting glucose level, which you'll see your glucose of what it is at that point in time, or your cholesterol. Those are big ones. LDL, HDL, and the ratio, triglycerides, total cholesterol. These things can be skewed if you do eat before you go in and do the blood test. So that's always the biggest thing. And when we tell people to fast, it's usually 12 hours before their blood test. But if they don't have a fasting blood test they need to do, let's say a person just wants to get a recheck on their PSA. You don't have to fast for that. That's not a problem. You can go in and get your PSA and not be an issue.
Let's go if we can. Let's go the full gambit.
Sure.
Make sure that you have enough water.
Yes.
Before you get
make sure
tested.
you're hydrated. Yeah.
If you can, fast before that, just to check those important the blood markers. Yeah. No sex for how long?
So, if you have a PSA problem, and that's not everybody, we tell that somebody that does have a PSA problem, maybe that's been a reaching high or it's been over 4.0 before with us, we tell them to stay abstinent from sex at least 72 hours because that can enlarge the prostate. If you're
I'm just going to make a note for Clark Bartram. That's one thing he has to, because that boy's
because, if it was me or you and we see our blood test and we came back at a 1.0 every time, 1.3, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. You can have sex right before you come in and get the blood test, and you're going to be fine. But if you're in those categories, in those high risk categories, and people know who they are, then at that point you have to prepare and plan the best to get the exact result, the right on result, instead of maybe a skewed result or something could be affecting that result. That's the best way to do it. And if there is something that comes back wrong, right, something's off, then you need to talk to the provider. If you talk to us, we're going to tell you exactly what to do, like I just said now. We'll give you some tips to go back, and then we'll retest, and we'll see what's going on there. And if that retest comes back bad, we can do a third and do a medium of the things. But usually if you get 2 to 3 blood tests that are showing the same result or around the same result, it's probably going to be the result, for sure, 100%.
I gotta, did you read this one, Jeffrey?
No. So I'm in my 60s. Robbie Robinson gives me the inspiration to know I can do it too. My birthday is within the next 3 days, and my workouts are going great with my partner, my wife, Lori Walton. She's so much stronger than she was a few months ago. Thank you, Robbie and Mike. I train for longevity.